feel it. All right. So,
So,
I am Angel.
and I may.
I almost forgot who I was. No, we haven't been drinking.
Not at all.
We are making a glorious attempt at lightening the mood.
Yes. Glorious.
Yes. Did we say we are unBasic?
We have not yet.
Well, we are.
We are unbasic.
We are.
Welcome.
Welcome. So it has been a really rough past couple of months.
Yeah.
2020 did not start out the way anyone anticipated.
Not at all.
With everything that's been going on between COVID-19 to the worldwide protests, it's been rough. It has been really, really rough.
And then in addition to that, our own personal lives and whatever is going on with us, and trying to deal with how these changes are affecting us personally, as well as at this point globally.
Right.
So it's been a transition, and getting used to the new normal, and
Whatever
everybody's
that looks like.
on or resisting lockdown, and for the sake of our health, or
Right.
I'm an American, I have a right to not wear a mask.
And make everyone else sick in the process.
Yes, you do have that right. Thank God for America.
But you don't actually. But you don't actually have that right. People think they do, but I think they misunderstand what their rights entail. Because they're so used to doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
That is not the same thing.
I think when you said that, I remember in government learning about, like, yes, you have a right to do whatever you want, except yell fire in a movie theater.
Exactly.
Because then you infringe on the rights of others by nearly killing them in the stampede to get out of the movie theater.
Right, exactly. And
so-
essentially, you're yelling fire in this pandemic because you put other people at risk when you don't follow what every doctor in the world has been telling you to follow.
Right.
But
And with that, we're lightening the mood.
yeah, I know, right? Well, we're supposed to be lightening the mood, but you see how hard it's been
It's
to.
invasive.
Yeah.
It's intertwined in our being now.
It really is. You're trying to find the positives, and you're trying to find, hope and light, but you end up getting sucked back in because this is just the reality
Right.
of what our lives look like now.
Right. But on the blue sky that's been happening is that families have really been getting to know each other, and that could not be a blue sky, but
Right.
I mean, people are spending more time at home with their families. They're exploring their creative sides. Hopefully, it's a good thing that companies are really understanding that some of the people really can work from home or work satellite kind of thing. Things can go on. Like, I haven't missed an episode of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, or Late Night with Stephen Colbert, or I think it's Late Night with Seth Meyers. I can't.
There's
It's
so
a lot
many.
of lates.
There are a lot
It's
of
a lot of
late nights.
late, so I haven't missed an episode of that because it keeps getting posted. And I haven't missed an episode of him, and I'm really glad for him. His stuff is really in depth and thorough and stuff like that. At any rate, so the blue sky is that we're learning how to adjust, and it kind of reminds me of those shows in the future where it's like, well, what do people do for work if everything is run by robots? Well, people adjust, and they have their new normal. So
Right.
this is our new normal, and
Yep.
and we are adjusting, getting the hang of it. I can breathe a little better in the mask when I'm outside. A little bit. But man, I'm looking forward to a cure.
Well, having lived overseas, especially in particular in Asian countries like Japan and Korea and places like that, they wear masks anyway. So for me, it hasn't been that big of an adjustment because it was kind of automatic if you were sick, or if you had a cold or flu or even symptoms or anything like that, or if you were getting red dust from China, you would wear a mask. So they did it anyway. So I think because I came from that culture that I was kind of used to wearing the mask. But I know that has been a huge adjustment for people who are not used to doing that. Because I used to think all the time, especially when I came back to the stateside, why aren't you wearing a mask if you're sick? First of all, why aren't you staying home? Then why aren't you wearing a mask? But it's not a mask culture.
Right.
You know, America's not a mask culture, and they are resisting that big time.
Yeah.
You know. But again, we're back to talking.
That's not what we wanted to talk
That's
about.
not what we wanted to talk about. We had a script and everything.
Yeah. So, the other day, I came home from my day job, and some kind of way we ended up talking about hair and well, particularly how black men feel about women with hair and that kind of thing, and the lengths that we go through, that we, as not just women but particularly black women, the lengths we go to and the amount of money we spend
Right.
to keep our hair fried, dyed, and laid to the side,
Right.
or weaved and caught and snatched and pulled
Right.
and tucked and all that kind of stuff. So
The pain we endure.
yeah, and I'm looking because I remember I was listening. I think it was the other new edition, Johnny Gill.
The other new edition.
'Cause he was
If you're watching, Johnny.
Well, I'm sorry. Latecomer, and it's a whole bunch going on in my head. So I was listening to my. And he's going through, and he wanted to run his fingers through her hair. And I was like, she's not black.
Don't touch
is
my
she?
hair. You can stop right there, Johnny.
She's not black, is she? Because you can't do that. And even because I came up before, as far as I knew, weave was really popular. The older women wore those wigs that didn't fit them at all. So, but I came along when with the relaxer, and you feathered your hair, and you had all kinds of cute hairstyles, but there was so much product in it to make it look a certain way that do not touch my hair.
Right.
Because you're going to mess up the
still
hairstyle.
is.
Yeah.
Because I know one of the things that we were talking about, I don't want to misquote if it wasn't him, but I believe it was Ice-T or someone like that. But I can't remember who it was. But anyway, the conversation basically became black men who date white women or other women other than black. And one of the things that they had mentioned was, and I maybe it wasn't Ice-T, but anyway, they had mentioned that one of the things was because they cannot do all the things with a black woman that they can do with a white woman in terms of, just being able to run their fingers through their hair to be romantic or go swimming and things like that. And it got me to thinking, they may be onto something because, in all honesty, a lot of times we don't like people touching our hair.
No.
Because, like you mentioned, all of the stuff that goes into taking care of it.
Right.
And you spend hours at the salon getting it to look a certain way. You do have a lot of product in your hair to get it to look the way it does.
Right.
That it's very difficult to go swimming without like a swimming cap or something like that, especially
Right.
if you're going to get your hair wet.
Right.
So for me, like anytime I go on like a real vacation where I know I'm going to be swimming and things like that, I usually braid it, so that, so I can get my hair wet without
Right.
having to go through so much in terms of, fixing it afterwards. Because if I'm in like the Cayman Islands or something like that,
Right.
I'm not going to have access to the salon to get my hair done again after
Right.
I've gone swimming.
Right.
So, and then beach sand. If you get beach sand in a black person's hair.
If you get beach sand in a black person's anything, God,
Yeah.
that sand gets everywhere.
Yeah, sand gets everywhere, and it's very difficult to get out. And that may not even be, I don't know, the white women. Comment down below if you have the same issues at the beach, because it takes a lot to get that sand out.
And I thought it would be harder for particularly black women who need extra moisture on their scalp, because that stuff gets pasty in the
Right.
water and stuff, and then you got sand in there too.
Right.
It is not an easy feat. And going back to like spending time in the salon, when I had hair, and I went to the shop, that's a 3-hour thing.
Oh yeah, at least.
And
3
that
hours.
was even when I got my hair straightened, because for years I had the relaxer put in, and then I decided to go natural, and just get my hair straightened instead of dealing with all the chemicals. So instead of the chemically fried, dyed, and laid to the side, I comb fried, dyed, and laid to the side.
Which still takes hours. And
Yeah,
hours
because
and
you gotta
hours.
wash it, you gotta dry it, you gotta comb it, and it's just it was just an ordeal. And then you have to get the ends cut, and then you're terrified because you know how long it takes me to grow my hair.
Right.
Don't cut my hair.
Don't cut my hair.
But you gotta cut the split ends and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, there was an episode. You remember that episode of Blackish where she was talking to Rainbow and she was saying that she cuts an inch off of her hair at night, and she said a black girl would notice that. Because it's like that 1 inch, you know,
Oh,
when
my
you're at
gosh.
the salon and they're like, I'm just gonna clip your inch.
don't
You're
touch
like, okay, if that's necessary and you're watching closely, that is not an inch.
just do one of those angle cuts then. Don't touch anything else.
Exactly, because it takes a
Man.
long time to grow hair.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and it's very difficult to go just jump in the pool.
Right.
You know, it's not easy to do, and also, it's not easy to have somebody like run their fingers through your hair because
Right.
you have a lot of product in your hair. You
Right.
know, but I don't think that's exclusive to black folks though. Even though I think
that's
it's
right.
a lot easier to wash and redo someone else's hair.
Right.
Because, you know, I think the products are readily available and you don't have to do as much.
Right.
You know, you can throw it in a ponytail and keep it moving. Whereas for us to throw it in a ponytail and keep it moving, we still gonna have to gel it down and, you know, slick it back and tie it
And then
up.
there's a special brush you gotta use because
Exactly.
it's
You gotta
that
get your
baby hair
edges.
thing,
Yeah. You gotta
the
get your
edges
baby hair,
down
gotta
and all
get
that.
your edges.
'Cause you can't go out looking any kind of way.
Exactly. You have to gel it down, all this kind of stuff. And the struggle is real. And you guys have to understand. You remember the basketball team a couple of years ago that was criticized because the coach called them nappy or something like that. He said they had nappy hair.
I remember that.
And it's like, you know, we're always criticized when our hair is not looking right. But it takes a long time and a lot of effort to get it to look like that.
Right.
So you got to understand why we're so sensitive about our hair. Don't touch it.
And then the other thing, like talking about getting it done, and then we go out on dates, and these guys want to go run the finger back to running the fingers through the hair. You know how long it took?
Exactly.
and it's not even just a matter of that. It is, I went through all of this for you.
So
We go through all of that. Go through the stuff we go through for our hair is so that when we're on the arm of our men or women, then we look good. And because if maybe it's something that we grew up with as a culture, because if I look good, then my man looks good, or my mom looks good, because mama didn't let me go out the house any kind of way. Granny showed enough didn't let me go out the house any kind of way.
Right.
So
well, because it's kind of a reflection, you know,
Right.
how well you're taking care of your child.
Right.
Because you can't have them out there looking any kind of way, because that is something that gets judged.
Right.
People look at it and be like, what's wrong with your child's head?
and why you look good in
Exactly.
your
You
child
look
doesn't.
good and your child's looking like that.
And I look at
Something must
couples
be
like
wrong.
that. You see this guy fit and just like cut, bang, hair, you know, whatever the hair is and all that kind of thing. And then you see the person he's with, and you're like, how'd you land him? What did you do? Do you have peanuts smeared all over your skin to attract him?
Parents tied up in the basement.
Gee. So we go through a lot because when we go out, we want to look good. And you running your fingers through our hair is not going to aid that.
Right.
That's going to mess it up. And then we got to go back to the mirror and fix it. And it's going to take another 20 minutes because there's that one hair. Mm-hmm. That one hair. This side, wow, that looks good. This side.
Right.
And I knew somebody, she was white. I'm sorry, white people. She was white. Every time my hair gets out of place, I just snip it.
Now that's funny.
You do what?
Oh, must be nice to not have to worry about
My
it.
God. Man, please.
But I can honestly say, since lace front has become my thing, I don't fuss as much about my natural hair.
Uh-huh.
I don't fuss as much as I used to because I'm just going to cover it up with this anyway.
Right.
You know, I'm just gonna cover it up anyway. So I don't worry about as much. But I do know, I see a lot of like YouTube tutorials and different things like that, trying to make your lace front or your weave look more natural and all these other things. And to me, it's kind of a moot point because it is fake hair. You know what I mean? So it doesn't bother me if it's fake, but what bothers me is if it looks bad. Because you know, you've seen some really bad wigs.
Gosh. Oh yeah.
You know, you've seen some really bad wigs,
yeah.
and it's like, what the heck is wrong? It's a wig. How can you have a wig that looks that bad?
This is a trippy thing. I forget where I was, but I was at a store at the register, and I'm looking at this lady, and this is when I saw in person that even white people wear weaves or whatever, right? So with tracks, there was a tracks thing.
Okay.
This girl, who was the cashier, had a track, and I don't know what happened. She went on break, and I don't know, had a meltdown or something. But her hair was coming through the tracks.
I've seen that.
And I'm like, you don't feel that? Just
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen some like that, and again, white people or people other than black, comment down below because we don't know. So
Right.
comment down below. But I would think it would be easier to blend.
I would think so too.
I would think it would be easier to
Because the hair
blend,
automatically
but
lays down.
you would think,
Right.
but for some reason, you end up seeing a big transitional difference between the weave and the natural hair. And I'm always curious, what were you looking at? How did that happen? You know, because you would think it would blend a lot easier.
Right.
But I guess not. So let us know.
Please,
let us know the
I
deal
don't
there.
know, 'cause
'Cause just
she
out
was
of
a hot mess.
curiosity.
And I didn't have the heart to tell her because it was a line of people, and I didn't want to say, girl,
Oh no, that would have been too mean. But yeah,
you got all of this.
right. All of your tracks are visible, and I've seen that with some people with lace fronts too. They don't
Ooh.
part it right, or they've worn that lace front so long that their tracks are beginning to show. And it's like, it's time to get a new one. If you're gonna go synthetic, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And then you can switch it out like monthly if you want to. Because
Yeah.
you know, you can get a good, nice synthetic wig for like $38, you know. Like this one is synthetic, and I think this one was like $30-something. See, you can touch this all day. Just don't pull it off.
What?
Right? Just don't pull it off. But you can touch this all day. I don't know if you can get your fingers through it, brothers.
Yeah, and that's something that I think about too. Is like, if I meet someone, there's nothing to do except this.
Well, if he's bald, you can rub his head too.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen.
You can rub his head too. So
Yeah. But even this, you gotta ask first. Don't just go.
yeah,
petting my
just
head.
don't go petting people. You should ask anyway.
But this is actually really liberating.
yeah.
Just-
In what way?
In that all I have to do is just get up.
Yeah.
And when I have to start brushing it, then I'm like, okay, it's too long. But it took me a long time to get to that point because hair was so important.
Right.
Because I like being able to do that, and my hair had gotten kind of long for a while, and kind of long for me was about right to here. And then I had dreads, and my dreads, oh my God, I love my dreads.
Right.
And those went down my back.
That's maintenance. People don't realize, because I had dreads too.
Uh-huh.
Those dreads are high maintenance.
I love
People
dreads.
say dreads are, you can get dreads if you don't want to do anything to your hair.
Yeah.
And that is not the case at all.
Well, eventually you don't
I
have to do
love
anything.
dreads. Trust me, I love them. I think they're beautiful. I loved my dreads when I had them. They were just too much work for me, because I'm lazy. They were just too much work.
Right.
This, I can wash it. I can, I have to do some maintenance on it.
That's
And,
work to me.
it is work. You have to do some stuff to it, but it's not as much work. If I want to run out to the store, I can throw this on my head with a, wig cap and hit it. Now, if I want to get fancy and lay down baby hairs and all this other stuff, now I can do that also. But really, this is very low maintenance. Very, very low maintenance. It's a lot easier wearing lace front wigs and things like that, and just get up and go.
Yeah.
You know.
And the other thing, what took, yeah, like I was saying, it was with the hair, it was I was so concerned about how I would be perceived, and would anybody be attracted to me with no hair, kind of thing. But I'm gonna make a confession here.
Please.
I was getting a serious widow peak going, and this is the thing, because there are Rogaine commercials. It's a whole lot thinner back here, so I was losing hair, and it was thinning, and the hairstyles wasn't looking quite right. And then with my dreads, I started losing my dread hair and all that kind of thing.
Oh wow.
So one day I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do me and be me.
Make the choice.
And I cut the dreads, and then I went to a shop. I said, just cut it all off, and she cut most of it off. And then from then on, I've been wearing my hair short, and then for a while I let it grow out a little bit just to see how it looked. And I had like this, not a high top fade, but
had a kid and play. She had a kid and play.
I loved it though, well, as long as I could keep it. And I had a little fro going on. I liked it, but then hair got to be maintenance. I was like, God, because you gotta get up and you gotta comb it, you gotta grease it and all that kind of stuff. I kept it natural to where I didn't have to be concerned about it getting wet or anything like that.
Right.
But it was too much maintenance, and so as soon as I could call my barber, sister girl, you need to fix all of this. She cut it all off, and then she did the edges thing. Oh, I miss that. I miss having a barber.
Well, you gotta find a new one.
I will. I just miss it. I'd like somebody else doing my hair, because I do it myself now because of the quarantine, and I don't know anybody in this particular location. So that's my hair journey. Is that eventually I just bit the bullet, and I seen other women who were bald, and it looked really good on them.
Right. I think you have to have the right head.
That helps, I guess.
I think, because you have a good head. You know, you have a good head. I don't think I could pull it off. I have a fat head. I don't think I could pull it off. You know,
well, you never know until you do it.
I'm not being self-deprecating. Yeah, I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm just, some people don't look good in hats.
Right.
Like, some people don't have a hat
and
head.
I love hats, but I'm told I don't look good in hats.
See, some people don't have a hat head. I don't think I would be able to pull off the bald. You know, but plus I like whip action. Right. I gotta have some.
Right. So if y'all see me in a recording and I'm doing the whip action, that ain't my hair, okay? Just so you know, my hair doesn't go that fast.
Yeah, and I am not, and that's what I was saying too about some of the tutorials and things that I've seen to try and make your lace front look a little more natural and different things like that. But I don't mind people knowing that I'm wearing a wig, because I am wearing a wig, so that doesn't bother me. But I do it because I like the way they look. You know, I like the way they look on me. I like having long hair. I like having hair that I can play around with and put in different styles. And, you know, and plus it's easier to do.
Right.
I don't have to worry if I mess it up, just buy a new one.
Right.
Easy day. You know,
Right.
It's like, ooh, I cut a little bit too much on that one. Next, and shake out my next one, you know, and then I can just keep it moving. So, but yeah. So we'll have to edit all of this out.